Hello folks, now that you've seen that reveal of my new album with the Misty Rose from Prima Marketing, let's get ready and start working on it. So the first thing I want you to do is go ahead and create your album chipboard cover, and you'll notice it's white, but when I open it up it is black. You're like, oh my god, how's that going to work? Don't panic. This actually here will be covered, and here we're going to actually put a piece of white paper over it. I could have made my Tyvek go all the way across. I wasn't thinking about it when I did it, so we're just going to go ahead and leave it like this, and we'll just add some white paper in there so you won't be able to see the black on there. So again, if you're not sure how to make your covers, pop over to my Bonita's Basic Covering Your Album, your chipboard for your album, and that will walk you through it. It'll walk you through making beautiful corners. Look at that. They're just great corners. It will walk you through that whole process. So the two pieces of chipboard you need for the front and back are 9 by 8.5, and make sure when you go to put it together you do it correctly. So it's 9 wide, 8.5 inch tall, 8.5 inches tall. The spine is on this one is 3.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches tall. You're going to need 3 pieces of white 8.5 by 11 cardstock to do the cover. I would do it with the 65 pound. So you're going to cut those, leave them at 8.5 by 10.5. And then when you open this up, you will want to, let me grab my big quilting ruler, and you'll want to trim it down to about 10.5 by 23.5. So roughly, because remember your goal is to have, when you get ready to do this, an inch around all 4 sides. So when you cut the 10.5 inches, the height of it will be perfect, and you'll just have to trim off a little bit on this end. So to go through that Bonita's Basic tutorial on that, if you're not sure how to cover them, once you work with me for a while and cover a couple of them, you won't need to do that because it'll just come automatic. So that's for that. We're also going to have you create the binding system. So these binding system are with a 1/2 inch gusset, and so these you will cut 3 pieces of cardstock, and again I would use the 65 pound at 4.5 by 8. So you'll walk through the scoring. It's going to tell you to score 4 times at 1/2 inch on one side, turn your paper and score 4.5, at 1/2 inch increments on the other side. So you'll have 4 1/2 inch increments on one side and 4 on the other. I know that seems silly, and some people want to just go half, 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 half all the way across, but that way it always makes sure when you turn it, even though this is a 1/2 inch gusset, it always makes it more perfect than doing it just every 1/2 inch. Sometimes we make the gusset 5/8 inch, which I did on my last album. Most of the time I do a 1/2 inch, but I still turn it. But walk through that. Again, I have a Bonita's Basic making the binding system. Go ahead and prep that with your score tape on the back. I did use 3/8 inch score tape, which you can get from J&S Hobbies. It's also in my supply list attached to this video. So you want to do that. And then I want you to go ahead and also make your waterfall. Again, go to my Bonita's Basic Perfect Waterfall, and you will get the base of it created. Your base for your waterfall, we always start out with this size at 6 1/8 by 8.5, because at the very end we're going to trim it. Again, the instructions will tell you that. You'll need 7 flaps that are 6 1/8 by 5 1/4. You'll score those at a 1/2 inch. Again, the tutorial will walk you through that. You're also going to need 1 small pocket for the last page. That will be 7 1/8 by 2.5. Decorative punched at the top, scored 1/2 inch on all 3 sides. Do that. And then your tab for this one, we went ahead and cut this tab at 2.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches long. And you can see then I went ahead and Deco punched on each of the 2 long sides for that. You'll score 4 3/4 and 4 7/8 to get that baby little gusset here. And then you want to build that waterfall, get your score tape on the back ready for it, and set that aside. Then what I want you to do is take this beautiful butterfly punch that we have, and I want you to punch, I don't know, maybe a dozen of them. Just have them set and ready so that when we get ready to color them, you have them punched out. Now I have double layered this one. See how it's 3-dimensional? So we are going to do a couple of those. So punch out about a dozen of them just so that you have them ready. So once you get that all completed, again, I have 3 of those basic tutorials. The link will be below to how to cover your chipboard, how to make your binding, how to make that waterfall. Once you get those, pop on back, and the next step will be for you to go through my photo of all the paper layouts that will tell you what to cut for your decorative paper. So after you do that, get your paper cut out, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll to start putting things together. Thanks, you guys. See you soon.